Hi, this is the fourth in the series of respectful assertiveness practices that you can use to defend yourself against those trying to manipulate you, or assert yourself in a friendly way to try to create better results and deeper relationships and eventually end up with win-win or workable compromise. So the defensive tactics we've talked about, the broken record where you just kind of say, I'd rather not, or just some form of no, just full sentence no. Fogging, where you might agree with what some reasons people were giving you why you should do what you don't want to do. You could say yes, but still I'd rather not. And the negative assertion, if they say, well, you're being selfish or whatever, you say, yeah, sometimes I just really have to be selfish. Those are the defensive tactics. Once you've got your defensive tactics down good, you can start to take some risks and actually get someplace. And one of the ways to do that, one is when people offer you free information. They say, well, I'm disappointed. And you can say, well, say more about that and learn more about just how they're feeling or what they're thinking. And then there's self-disclosure, where you take the risk of giving information about yourself. Again, it takes some courage to do that, but you can get someplace with it. So you will say, yeah, I was disappointed too, or, well, that just didn't seem to work for me, but I can see why you would be disappointed. So you offer some self-disclosure. Because you've got those defensive tactics, you can take the risk of disclosing self, and what can possibly happen when you disclose things about yourself is it can create kind of a positive cycle where the other person then starts to share more about themselves, and you're getting information out on the table where you can eventually work towards a win-win or a workable compromise. So it's quite important to notice that free information people give and to ask for more, and to disclose self, take the courage to do that. And even the more courageous thing is to ask for criticism, the negative inquiry. Again, that's to get more information out. Why are you angry at me? What have I done that's upset you? And takes courage to do that, but you often need to have that information in order to move forward. So you put all these together, and you can often work out a win-win or a workable compromise, or sometimes not. Sometimes it's just there's not going to be, particularly if someone's really trying to manipulate you or gaslight you or whatever. But here's a fun type of example to run through this. Let's say a friend of yours is getting married for the second time. He and his new wife-to-be are very much in love and very much kind of self-centered, and they have decided to have this great destination wedding off in this resort. And for you and your partner to go to this, it would cost you about $4,000. And finances are tight. You just don't have $4,000. But your friend really wants you to go. And so you call your friend up and you say, well, thank you for the wonderful invitation. We would love to come, but our finances are just too short. So that's kind of a fogging thing there, where you're saying, yeah, I agree, but I just can't do it. And then they might, being kind of self-centered at this point, say, oh, well, why don't you, $4,000 is not that much. Why don't you just put it on your credit card? And you would have to be assertive and say, well, we're, broken record again. Finances are really tight. We really just can't take on any more debt. And they would say, well, putting it on your credit card is not debt. And you would have to come back and broken record again. Yeah, we think of putting it on a credit card as debt, and finances are tight, and we just can't come up with the $4,000 that it would cost to come to this wonderful kind of resort wedding that you all have scheduled. So there, at that point, you need to start thinking about some of the ways to maybe create a workable compromise. You might say to the person, I think the only way we could go is if we could probably put up about 500. We could squeeze 500 out. Do you think you all could finance the other $3,500 so that we can make the trip and be with you? And they might say, well, do you mean a loan? I said, no, not a loan, just, that you could finance the trip for us except for $500, and then we could be with you and celebrate. And they might say, oh, well, we're spending so much on this wedding that, we just don't really have any extra money. Kind of finances are tight for us too. And you would say, oh. Then you would say, have you thought about maybe Zooming or streaming on Facebook the service? We'd just love to kind of be with you that way and to really celebrate with you. And they might say, we hadn't thought about that, but that might really be a good idea. We have some other friends who said they can't make it too, and that way we can include you all that way. That's a great idea. I think we'll do that. And you can say, yeah, that would be great. We really want to celebrate with you. So we'll be watching and celebrating with you on this great occasion. Great. So that would be a way to move to a workable compromise using the different assertiveness things. The three defensive, which kind of give you the backing to then use the courageous kind of asking for more information, noticing for information, disclosing, even asking for negative feedback with regard to yourself, all to get enough information so that perhaps a workable compromise can be worked out. It's a real win-win situation. So that's respectful assertiveness, folks. I found it extremely helpful. It's a deeply humanistic approach. It really respects the other person. The whole point is to really respect the other person, to realize that they have the right to respectfully assert too. And in fact, you're going to encourage them to do that so that you can actually get someplace that can be a win-win or a workable compromise. Well, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.